I wanted to become a true hippie. As a teenager in the 70s, I thought that if I was really cool, I would somehow break free from my traditional conservative Catholic family, and I would go live on a hippie commune with the right guy, where everyone would get along, everyone would share, and everyone would be on one long, cool trip together. It was the groovy alternative lifestyle I wanted to try on, but I just didn't know how to go after it. So I researched communes, I wrote papers about them in school, until finally my big chance came along. My high school psychologist came up with a genius idea. They would train high school students to talk to middle school students about the dangers of alcohol and drugs, because maybe middle school students would listen to high school students. I heard about this program and I thought, this rap session with kids sounds interesting, so I signed up. The leaders of this project were Byron and Lucia, who were like straight up cool hippies, but with PhDs. They gathered the group of students together, they taught a day-long health class on alcohol and drugs, and then they proposed that we would bond better as a team if we went away on an overnight retreat. So permission slips were given, our parents signed them, to go on an overnight field trip to the Maryland countryside. A few weeks later, our school bus arrived at our destination, and we could see lush open fields around a big old rambly farmhouse. As we entered the farmhouse, we were greeted at the doorway by beaded curtains. The sweet aroma of patchouli incense permeated the air. There were mismatched furnishings, peacock feathers in vases, residents living harmoniously. In short, it was a hippie commune. You dig? Byron and Lucia gathered our group together in the living room for our first meeting, where we were supposed to talk about our feelings because, you know, it was the 70s, and that's what we did. We talked about our feelings. And then Lucia proposed an exercise to build trust. So we had to stand up one by one, close our eyes, and fall backwards into the arms of our group members before we hit the ground. And I liked the touchy-feely group scene. And after a while, the group ended, and Byron and Lucia said we were free to explore the farm with just these two loosey-goosey chaperones. Wow, bring it on, man. And here I am at a hippie commune. Can you believe it? I couldn't have wished it any better. As I began to explore the farmhouse, I walked deeper into the house and I could see a kitchen, and in the kitchen I could see a guy sitting at a table, drinking a cup of tea, carefully pouring honey into glass bottles. And I thought, a pure, genuine hippie farm activity. So I went up to him and I said, "Hey, that looks like fun. My name is Barbara." And he said, "Cool. My name's Barry. You must be one of the kids visiting us. Welcome." And I said to Barry, the vibe of this place, I love it already. How long have you been here? And he said, "Well, I've lived here a few months. I was, in college, but that got stressful. And then I migrated to a yoga ashram. But when that scene got old, I migrated to this trip." And I thought, wow, this mellow but thoughtful guy has already lived deeply. He's tried new things. He's just dared to be. I had never met anyone like him. We continued to talk. He showed me his room. We listened to some records. And after a while, we went for a walk around the fields and the farm. And when it got dark and the stars were out, we laid in the grass and maybe actually consumed one of the substances I came to the farm to learn the dangers of. Truthfully, I can't fully remember, maybe because I was high. Yes, I was high. The whole evening was dreamlike. It was as though hippie fairy dust had been sprinkled all over us. We curled up next to each other and we slept a deep sleep. The next morning is a bit of a blur. I know I woke up next to Barry, and then I rushed to rejoin my group. Later that day, Barry walked me to my bus. We exchanged addresses and waved a sad goodbye as our group split for the big city. Within 2 days, a letter arrived at my home from Barry, and this is what he wrote. "Dear Barbara, did we really experience this mellow vibration together? It all seems like a really nice dream. I know we live different lifestyles, but I want to see you again. But mainly, Barbara, I want you to be happy. I want you to be free. I want you to be as strong as love and as soft as flowers. Until we meet again, peace and love, Barry. Amazing, right? I wrote him right away. I told him how much I dug him. I wanted to see him again. About 2 weeks later, a second letter arrives, and this one is in a muslin fabric envelope that's hand-sewn all around, and it set my hippie wannabe heart aflame. And in this letter, he poured out even more advice on how to live an authentic life. He said, Barbara, your vibration is so sensitive to beauty and love. It pours out of you. Keep your sensitivity. Be open, even when people will tell you not to be. Show your truth. Be wary of false trips. Those are not your trips. Reflect love, and it's all going to be all right. His advice was a gift to my 17-year-old self, and it became a guidepost for me about how to be uniquely me, about how to be true to me, even to this day. I've kept his letters, reread them across my life. But back then, between my being in high school, him living so far away, we just didn't have, email, cell phone. We couldn't keep in contact. We lost touch. And my senior year, my life took off and changed. I did go on to college, and after college, I did become an addictions therapist after some research. And I put Barry's advice to good use in my life. And then, through the magic of the internet, I did find Barry last year. And it took some detective work to find him, but when I did, it was as though no time had passed. And our first phone call, Barry said, "Did we have sex? Did we have a kid?" And I said, "No, Barry, we didn't have sex that I recall. And no baby." And he said, "Well, you are not the first person who's come looking for me." For me, meeting Barry was life-changing. Even if I only got to a hippie commune for one day and one magical night, I have zero regrets about my morning after, even to this day, about my wild midsummer night's dream.
Just know,